Hello, hello all. So today we are going to discuss about what is TCS NQT coding section. So if you'll see the procedure, if you'll see the total procedure of TCS NQT exam, in that the total exam is divided in 4 parts, where there will be first is English, then quantitative aptitude, and then there will be C MCQs. That means the MCQs will be on programming languages, and the last section is of coding section. Hello sir, hello everybody. So today we are going to see the coding section. Okay, so in TCS NQT, hello Shreya, hi. So I'm not going to explain the details of the NQT exam, but here today I am going to focus on TCS NQT exams coding session. Okay, so for this coding session 30 minutes time will be provided. One coding statement will be given, so we have to analyze what kind of coding statement is given. We have to build our own logic. Then after building the logic, we have to implement that code in the online compiler. Okay, so in the TCS online platform, the compiler will be given from the TCS end. It's not the compiler that we use in our regular practice. Okay, so we have to analyze the question, we have to write the code in our preferred language. So what are the different preferred languages allowed by TCS? That is C language, C++, Perl, Python or Java. So whatever language you are comfortable in, you have to use it for solving that problem statement. Hello, hello all. Okay, hello, good morning. Sorry, good evening, everybody. Okay, all the students have joined us. Mayuri, Vishal, Ankita, Prajakta, Shreya. Okay, so we're discussing about TCS NQT coding session. So what is coding session? One problem statement. The total time duration given will be 30 minutes. You have to analyze what kind of problem is given. You have to implement that logic in your preferred language. Which are the preferred languages given? C, C++, Perl, Python or Java. Okay, so most of the students which are not from non-CSC background or non-IT background, they may go for the C language, but some CSC students, IT students, which are more preferable to use Java language or C++ or other Python language, they can implement that logic in that preferred language. Okay, but one thing that should be clear in everyone's mind, that there is no any extra marks for selecting a fancy language. Okay, so even if you'll implement the logic in C language or in Python language or some other language, if your code is running and your total output is correct, you'll get out of marks. Okay, so clear? So though there is no any extra marks for selecting a fancy language. So before selecting the language, we have to keep in our mind which language we are preferable in. Okay, clear? Now we'll see last year's NQT's problem statement, coding session problem statement. We'll analyze how to deal with it. Okay, if someone is having any problem with the audio or something, please let me know in the comment box. If you have any problem, just put it over there. Okay. Okay, so Vishal has asked, there is no update regarding NQT 2021 date. Do you know when it will happen? Actually, there is no any published date from the TCS end, but it may probably go in next month. That means in the month of August or something, and the NQT exam will be taken in the month of October. Most probably, as per the news and as per the sources. Okay, so we'll see what is coding session. Okay, first of all, we'll see what is the problem statement given. Okay, so we'll discuss if you want any updates for test dates or something. Yesterday Prasanna sir has given one lecture on TCS NQT, what is the total procedure and what is the probable dates. Okay, please do refer that video for all these updates. Okay, here today we'll discuss about coding session. Okay, so we'll keep our discussion regarding only that coding session. Okay, you just press 1. Okay, okay, now we'll see what. If you want me to continue, press 1. Okay, just press 1 everybody. Okay, so everybody is okay with it. We'll discuss the coding session. Okay, voice is loud and clear. Okay, next. Okay, 1, please press 1 if we'll continue with it, or if someone is having any other doubts, we'll discuss it afterwards. Okay, so we'll keep our today's discussion strict to the coding session. Okay, okay, okay. So one more doubt, that doubt has been asked by one of the students, that if your code is right and your answer is wrong. Okay, see, I'll clear it. The code is not going to compile, the code is not going to check by human beings. Okay, obviously you are going to write the code in the TCS compiler. Lots of students are at a time applying for the TCS NQT. Okay, so it is not a human task. Okay, so what the compiler will do, compiler will check whether your logic is right. Okay, they'll apply some test cases over it and it will check the logic, and if your answer is correct, then only you will get the out of it marks. Okay, in previous case what was happening in our college level exams, if your logic is good, if your program is executed partially, even then your professor may give you some marks and will be passed out. Okay, but that is not the case with the coding session of TCS NQT. So you have to practice it more and more. And one thing that, as per my observation and my experience, whatever questions asked in TCS NQT in coding session that are more related with the aptitude. Okay, we'll see one example in today's session also. If you know the basics of your mathematics and your quantitative aptitude, you can build the logic. Okay, and then after building the logic, you can implement it in your preferred language. Okay, see, this is like an and statement. If your coding is good but you don't know aptitude, there will be no use. If your coding is bad but you know the aptitude, that is also not good, because if you know the problem statement but if you can't identify how to implement it in C language, what will be the use? Okay, so you have to practice in the both sections. Okay, so today we'll see one example from the previous year NQT's test questions. Okay, we'll see the question. See here, what is given in the question? One series is given. Okay, I'll read the question for you. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, 8, 27, 16, 81, 32, 243, 64, 729, 128 and 2187 and so on. This is one series. Okay, and what they are told, this series is mixture of two series. Okay, this is not a single series, it is a mixture of two series. Okay, all the odd terms in this series form one geometric series. Okay, so all the odd terms means what? Whatever numbers present at odd locations. Okay, odd numbers means odd locations. That means at the first position, third position, fifth position, seventh positions and so on. That is odd locations. This is forming one geometric series. Clear? And the other, that means even positions, is forming another geometric series. Okay, so what is the question asked? You have to write a program to find nth term in the series. Okay, what they asked? Nth term. They have not specified what is n. N is user defined. Okay, suppose you press n is equal to 10, it should print 10th number in the given series. If you press n is equal to 11, it should press 11th number in the series. Okay, see, very important thing, first of all, understand the question. What is important? You have to understand the question. If you have made any mistake in understanding, you'll implement same logic in the program and you'll lose your marks. Okay, so all of you understood the problem. We'll see in the comment box. If someone is having any doubts regarding this problem, we'll see. Okay, in comments. If you understood the problem, press 1. Okay, if you have any doubts, then just press 2. Okay, okay, we'll read some comments. Partial marking. Okay, actually, if your logic is right, if your code is right as per the test cases, you'll get some marks, but it's not guaranteed that whatever logic as per the compiler available, it will match with it. Okay, so it is better to go with the perfect code. Okay, most of the time the codes are the problem statements which are given in the TCS NQT exam are like the problem statement is simple, but you have to think within that 30 minutes, and that practice is important. And here in our sessions we are going to do same kind of thing. Okay, we have to practice it more and more so that we can understand how to implement all these things within 30 minutes. Okay, so time span is very important. Okay, so we'll see how we can deal with this question. Okay, first, what they have given all the odd terms. Which are the odd terms? So odd terms, I will write it down here. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, and so on. So these all are odd locations. Okay, these all are odd location. I will give the name it as odd. Okay, clear? Now we'll see the even terms. That means at the even position terms. I have a double underscore for these even terms. I'll write down these even terms. Okay, so what are the even terms? 1, 3, 9, 27, 81, 243, 729, and 2187, and so on. Okay, clear? So what is the question? You have to see the console, output console should be like this. There should be one message, enter n. Okay, whenever you enter n, suppose n is equal to 10. So what is the number n? N is equal to 10. Okay, what is, so we'll go for the 10th location. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what is available at the 10th location? 81. So output should be 81. There will not be any statement or something, the output of this given number. Don't write anything, because the compiler is going to check only input and output. Okay, don't write anything else in your printf statement in the final statement. Okay, just write output whatever it may be. Okay, clear? Anybody is having any doubts? We'll see in the comments. Okay, if two series are created, then in which series we have to find? See, that is the question. You have to find in the both series. What they have given? They have given two series is a mixture of. These two series are mixed with each other and they have created one series. Okay, so it's not that much simple problem as per the one single series. It is a mixture of two series. Okay, but one thing that they have mentioned, that one series is at odd location and the other series is at even location. Okay, clear? So that is the key point, odd and even. So we have to identify whether the n is odd or even. Okay. Okay, we'll see some questions. Swapnil Pawar is giving n term. Okay, what is going, sir? Can we take another value for n? See, n, yes, Pooja. Yeah, you can give any value for n. N is user defined. So if you press n, n is equal to 10, it should print n. That it should print 81. Okay. If n is equal to 11, so you have to go for 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 is 32. So the message should print as 32. Okay, Virashri, board is not visible. Okay. Is it visible now? Okay. So we'll see. So we have to think about, to build the logic, what are the different variables are required. Okay. One variable that is required is nth term. So we'll consider one variable n. Okay. One more thing, that means we have to print a. We have to print one variable a. For example, we'll consider one variable a, where we are going to form these operations and we are going to print the value of a at the nth location. Okay, and one variable I will consider. See, since it is a series, how to consider there is a loop. Okay, first thing you should become into your mind, if it is series, it should have some relation into it. For that we have to use loop. Here I am going to use for loop, and for that for loop we are using one counter with name I. Okay, so I is one counter that I have considered. First of all, implement the logic for even and odd. Okay, n is whether n is even or n is odd. So how we can identify whether the number is even or odd? You just put it into comment box. How we can identify n is even or odd? Just please. By using yes. What if numbers are mixed up not according to even and odd? See, most of the time the series are mixed like that, so that there will be some relation into it, so that we can make some logic behind it. Okay. If it is not mixed, they may tell you that some first five numbers are from one series and the other five numbers for second series. So we can identify for the counter I is equal to 1, 2, less than or equal to 5, and then I is greater than 5. So that kind of thing can be implemented if the numbers are not odd or even. Okay. Yes, right. Shubham, you're right. We'll use mod function. Okay, where n mod 2, if it is even, if the remainder is 0, it is even. If it is not 0, then it will become odd. Same thing, right? Good. So n mod 2. So for this we have to use two blocks. Okay, first if you put if n mod 2 is equal to 0, okay, it should go into, see, I'll write this block in blue color. This is the condition, n mod 2 is equal to 0. Then it will go into this block. Okay, this is for which part? This is for even. Okay, if this condition is not satisfied, that means it is not an even number, it will go for the else block. Okay. Even if you'll not see some things on the board, we are going to write this program on the compiler. Okay, so you'll get all the details of this program on the compiler. Okay, so even if you'll miss something in this on the board, we'll cover it on the online compiler. Okay, so you just think about the logic, okay, and concentrate on the logic that I'm telling you. Okay, so first condition is if it is even, one block. If it is odd, it should go into the second block. Now the main part, that means we have to consider what is the relation between each and every terms. Okay, so for odd terms, what is the relation? Suppose your first number a is 1. A is 1. Okay, so what is the next number in the second iteration? It is 2. What is third? 4. So we can identify there is some relation in between each and every number. If your a is starting from 1, okay, every time it is multiplied by 2. Every time it is multiplied by 2. And if you see the even thing, 1, 3, 9, 27, 81, 243. So this is every time it is multiplied by a is equal to 1, suppose it is multiplied by 3. It is multiplied by 3 and this one is multiplied by 2. Okay, so what should be the final statement for these even terms? See, it should be like this. A is equal to, see, first of all we have to use one for loop. Okay, in the if statement there will be for loop. For I is equal to 1, we'll start it from 1. I is less than or equal to, see, this is very important. Here I can't take n directly. Because what? Why? Because we are dealing with each and individual series. Okay, so if you'll see, capital N is equal to 10. N is equal to 10. Okay, what is N? N is 10. 10 is even or odd? 10 is even. Okay, so this 10 is even from this belonging to this series. Okay, so at the 10th location it is 81 in the given series, but in the even series it is at the 5th location. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, it is not at the 10th location, it is at 5th location, because we are dividing the problem into two parts. Okay, so I should be less than or equal to n by 2 minus 1 I plus plus. I will tell you why I have taken this minus 1. Okay, at the time of actual programming, I'll tell you why this minus 1 is important. Okay, if you take this n by 2 as it is, there will be one mistake that will occur in this series. Okay, for I is equal to 1 to I is less than or equal to n by 2 minus 1 I plus plus. What should be the relation? For even the relation is multiplied by 3. A is equal to A multiplied by 3. Okay, so this is one loop. If the number is not even, that means it is not odd, again same thing will be repeated for the else loop. I'll write here only because it's not visible at the lower side. So for I is equal to 1, but here one thing that will be changed is less than or equal to n by 2 and A is equal to A multiplied by 2. A is equal to A multiplied by 2. Okay, so both logics will be implemented and finally we have to print that value of A. So just one message should be there, that printf in the braces, in the double quote, the value of A or the output. Just write output comma A bracket complete semicolon. Okay, and after that return 0 and your loop should be completed. Clear? So we'll see any doubts if someone is having in the comment box. Are you getting what kind of problem is asked? Okay, we'll see some comment box in the comments. Okay, how can I use this in Python? Yeah, see, Siddesh, you can use this in Python with the help of all these logical things. Okay, in Python what you have to use, you have to just, you don't want to introduce your variables, you directly implement your code in Python. Okay, so we'll go for the coding as Vishal is asking. Okay, which language we will be using? Okay, see, it is depend on your preference. Okay, TCS has given preference as C, C++, Python, Perl or Java. Okay. If you are comfortable in Python, if you are comfortable in Java, you can implement this logic in your preferred language. But C is most widely used. Some non-CSE, non-IT background students also can use this C language. So that's why we are covering here all the questions through C language. That is a basic thing. Okay. Now we'll move towards the compilers. Okay. Here I have used one online compiler, that is online GDB. If you have your code blocks or turbo C or something what you are comfortable in, you can use that. Okay. We'll move towards online GDB. Okay. Let's move. Okay. So everyone is okay with it? Is it visible? Okay. So should I explain the program? Okay. Okay. Is it visible? Font size, okay, I'll just make it large. Okay. Now is it visible? Okay, good. So we'll explain, we'll see what is we have used here. First of all, we have declared variables like I, capital N, A. See, first of all, what we have used, A is equal to 1. That means we have initialized one variable A to value 1. So by default, if there is no any value, A will be 1. Okay, so it will not take any garbage value. Okay, it will take A is equal to 1 at the starting of the program. Okay, are you getting? Okay, so next thing is we have to show the message as enter N. Okay, so program should be very simple. There should not be any complications in the program. Just put enter N. Okay, after that, whatever value of N we are supplying, it should be taken from the keyboard. Okay, so scanf in double quotes %d comma ampersand n. So whatever value you are pressing from your keyboard, whatever it may be, n is equal to 10, 11, 1, 2, 3, whatever it may be, it should be taken from the keyboard. Now the conditional statement, what we have to check, whether the n is even or odd. So the same thing we have used. If n mod 2 is equal to 0, go inside this loop. This one is for even. Okay, and if this condition is not satisfied, it will go to the else loop and this statement will be used. Okay, I'll just highlight this. If it is odd, this body of the for if loop will be executed, and else it will go to this, that means at line number 14. Okay, finally we have to print whatever results are available. See, I have not written anything else, I just printed output directly. Okay, I haven't written anything, that means the output of this series is or something else. Okay, because see, this code is not checked by human beings, it will be checked by the compilers. We have to understand what kind of language compiler is understanding. So compilers will be fed with some input like a test cases for n is equal to 1 to some numbers, and some outputs will be fed into it. Okay, we'll zoom it. Just a minute. Just a minute. We'll zoom it. Okay. So what we have to consider, the program is not going to check by human beings. Okay, the program is going to be checked by compilers. We have to understand what the compiler is working on. Okay, the compiler will be, see, compiler means what it will check, there will be some inputs will be given. For that input, what output is given, that is already fed into the program. Okay, so that compiler program will check whether your program is giving same kind of input and same kind of outputs. Okay, it is not going to check your message. So don't waste your energy or your time in writing all this kind of stuff. Okay, be straight, press input, enter your input and take your output. Okay, okay, now it is visible. Okay, clear? Now we'll see if even this part will be executed where it is multiplied by 3, relation is multiplied by 3, and if it is odd, this part will be executed. Okay, and finally the output will be printed. Okay, now we'll run this program and we'll see what happens with this. Okay, first of all, in this, if you don't know online GDB compiler, there is one run tab here. Before, when you are going to start first time, you have to select the language in the language box. I'm going to select C language here. Okay, and we'll run it. Okay, so it is compiling online. Okay, we'll see the output here. Is it visible? Okay, so I'll enter n is equal to 10. Okay, so at the 10th location, number is 81. Okay, it's very simple. We'll run it again. We'll see what results it gives for n is equal to 11. Okay, one suggestion came from our technical guy that please improve your video quality. That means 360p or 420p, okay, or more than that, so that it will be more visible. Otherwise, the text will be blur in your video window. Okay, so we'll enter n is equal to 11 here. Okay, now see 32. Okay, so same kind of thing will be available with the compiler, where all the values of n will be given. Okay, and what is the output that is stored in the compiler. So compiler is going to check each and every input and output for your program. Okay, now one thing that I have mentioned in previous thing, if n is equal to 1, what will happen? How the program will execute? If n is equal to 1, what will happen? Whether these for loops will work or not, just give me some suggestion in comment box. Okay, if n is equal to 1, okay, if n is equal to 1, whether these for loops will work or not. Okay, will it work? Okay, how many of you think this for loop will work? Why is it n by 2 not n? Right, Siddhant, you have asked one question, why it is n by 2 and why it is not n? See, this total series, see what is asked, you have to identify nth number in the given series. Okay, but here already we have divided this series by using this mod function. Okay, so when your n is equal to 10, okay, when your n is equal to 10, it should be in the even series. Okay, but one location is skipped by the odd series. Okay, are you getting the point? So n is not 10 now in this series, it is half of it. Okay, it's not 10, it will become 5, because at the 5th location that value will be available. Okay, for example, if you see the question, see what is the question asked? and even, it will come at the fifth location. Okay, should I explain this again? This logic, that is important. We have to understand the question first of all, whether the n is odd or even. Okay, whether the n is odd or even. How we have decided it? By using if statement. If n mod 2 is equal to 0, it will be even. If it is not even, it will go to the else loop. Okay, clear? Now we'll see how it can be implemented in the online GDBs platform. Okay, in the coding platform, we'll see how we can see this. But one thing that I have asked you, if n is equal to 1, whether this for loop will be implemented or not. Okay, I'll tell you whether it will implement or not. It will not execute, because if n mod 2 is equal to 0, okay, so if n is equal to 1, 1 mod 2 means what? Is 1 is divisible by 2? No, answer is 0. Remainder is 1. So this condition is not satisfied. It will come to this in the else loop, that means for the odd location. Okay, so it will come to this. Now the condition is for I is equal to 1 to I is less than or equal to n by 2. Okay, so what is n by 2? N is 1. So whether 1 by 2 is less than or equal to 1, is the condition is true here. See, I is starting from 1 and we are checking whether 1 is less than or equal to 1 by 2. So this condition is not true. So this message, this block will not execute. This condition will not be executed here. So it will go directly to this statement and A will be printed. That means A is equal to 1. Okay. Now we'll see the second thing. That means when n is equal to 2. Okay. When n is equal to 2, it will go into the even loop. Okay. So 2 mod 2 is equal to 0, right? Answer is 1. Remainder is 0. But what is our condition? N by 2 minus 1. That means 2 divided by 2, that is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. Is 1 is less than or equal to 0? This condition is also not satisfied. So it will go directly to printf statement of this A. Okay. So at both the 1 and 2, it will be output. Okay. Not executing. Okay, Amar, just check whether you have made any mistake in your program. Check for the syntax errors or some logical errors if you have made. Okay, we'll see we'll make one mistake here. See, I have done this program by considering I is less than or equal to n by 2 minus 1. If I'll put n by 2 here, what will happen? We'll see. Okay, I'll save the program. Okay. Okay, just we'll see. Okay, enter n. Now press n is equal to 3. Okay. So at third location of this program, what is given? Just a minute. There is some issue with the connectivity. The program is not saved. Okay, n by 2 minus 1. Okay, we'll save it. Okay, it's not getting saved here on my compiler. Okay, you just try this n by 2 minus 1 and check whether the results are wrong or right. What will happen if you put n by 2 here? In the first iteration, when n is equal to 2, what will happen here? For the first iteration, when n is equal to 2, I is less than or equal to n by 2. If you put n by 2 here, this condition will be satisfied and it will go to this statement, A is equal to A into 3. And instead of 2 in the series, it will print 3. Okay, you just check it and then observe your output. Okay, why this n by 2 minus 1 is required? Because for the first two values, that means n is equal to 1 and n is equal to 2, you have to print 1 as per the given series. Okay, so you don't have to go into this loop. Okay, that's why this logic is used, n by 2 minus 1. Okay, understood? Okay, anybody is having any queries for this? You just implement this program in online compiler or code blocks or Turbo C or some other compilers like Visual Studio and all that, and check whether this logic is giving correct answer or not. Okay, we'll see some comments in the comment box. Please comments. Ajay. In the comment box we'll see what kind of comments are given. Should you okay? Pooja Neskar, one. Not executing, audio is breaking continuously. Sir, if we take I is equal to 0, then we can take n by 2. Yeah, Sneha, yes, we can take, if I will start from the 0th location, it can go for the n by 2. Yeah, if you take the I is equal to 0, then it may possible. Okay. Sir, can you explain how's data filled? Okay, see, data is not going to filled for this series. What question is asked? They have given one series already. Okay, and you have to build the logic like that. Whenever you are pressing any value, that value should be printed. Okay, that means for n is equal to 10, 11, whatever it may be, from that series, from that logic, the value should be printed. Okay, so there is no any feeding of data. We are not going to feed any series in here. We are just putting some logic here. Please make me understood the logic one more time. Okay, Saurav, you want me to explain the logic one more time? Okay. Vishal is asking, sir, if you edit, just run, it will save automatically. Okay. There is some technical error, Vishal. That's why it's not getting executed. Sir, how the constraints will be managed while writing the program? Can you take that kind of example? See, it is not depend on the constraints, Amar. Basically, there is no any restrictions of using how many types of variables or something. Okay, you can use as many number of variables or constants as per your requirement, but try to make it simple. Okay, so it could be understandable by the compiler. Okay, see, this program is not for our regular exams. This is for the NQT's TCS compiler. Okay, so we have to think how the compiler is going to check. Okay, so anybody is having any other doubt? Okay, okay, so we'll stop here. There is one feedback form given in the description, in the in comments. So you just have to fill that feedback form. Okay, same kind of questions we are going to see in the next lectures, in the upcoming TCS NQT's programming statements. Some more complicated problems we'll see. Okay, if someone is having any doubts or something, just repeat this video once again. That video will be available on our Shikuya's channel on YouTube. You can repeat it. Okay, good. Okay, Gautam, where can we find such questions? See, these questions are available online on different platforms. From the also we are at Shikuya, we are also sharing these kind of questions. We'll give some questions in the next tutorials or the next sessions. Okay, so tell me whether logic important or output important. See, both are important. Okay, in some cases it might happen that you are getting some test cases output. That means for first 2-3 cases you will get the output, but after that you are not getting the output. So there must be some mistake in the logic. That's why your output is not getting. Okay, so don't check only for 1 or 2 test cases. Okay, my suggestion, check the program for more number of test cases. Okay, so within that 30 minutes, why I am telling you use that 30 minutes wisely, your program should complete before 5 minutes, so that you can keep more 5 minutes for checking different test cases. Okay, and if your program is not working for particular test case, you can understand where the problem is going and you can make some changes over there. Okay, so it's better to complete your task before few minutes. Okay, so you can check more and more test cases. Okay, unless you are checking it on the test cases, you can't identify whether the output is correct or not. Okay, okay, so we'll stop here. uh, like this video, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram, Facebook and LinkedIn. Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you. Thanks a lot for attending the session. Thanks.